things actually that we didn't talk about when we were talking about the model was we didn't talk about the types of accommodations and supports that we provide for our staff.
Right.
Madison, is that perhaps something that you'd be interested in knowing about? Yeah, great. Well, what we do when our guys come through, because obviously, you know, when you start work, there's a particular job description and a particular way in which organisations train their staff. And what we do within our program is we have a support team that work with our individuals who are neurodiverse aware. So our guys that come through in the Dandelion program have all been diagnosed with autism. And so we use an autistic aware approach to our training and also to the way in which we conduct our team. And then over time, we work with each individual to identify the things, any accommodations that they require. And every person on the spectrum is very different in the way in which their autism presents to them. So for some people, there are some sensory issues. For other people, there are some social interaction concerns that they have. So some of the accommodations that we look at with our people is how you like to be communicated with. So one of the things for someone in my team is that they really are made quite anxious if they have to sit on the end of an aisleway where people can just walk past and talk to them whenever they feel like. They like to have an awareness of when they're going to be approached, and they like to have visibility of someone approaching them to the front as opposed to behind. And so that's a really easy thing. We just take that into consideration into our floor plan. A lot of our guys use noise reduction headphones as well. And what that often does is for some of our people that have a little bit of difficulty with transitioning and maintaining focus, it can help you to main focus by filtering out the peripheral types of sensory information that presents itself to you, all the noises that happen around you, and it can help you to focus on that. Some of our people actually have a particular type of white noise that they like to listen to, and even though that might sound for some people to be, oh, would that not be distracting? It's actually a really comforting way for them to be able to focus their particular attention. We have some of people that have that experience mental fatigue. If we think back to that slide that I had up where we're talking about the types of brain connectivity that happens in the autistic mind, it's not difficult to understand why some people experience mental fatigue from the day-to-day interactions that they have in the workplace. And so for those individuals, we restructure their day slightly. And it isn't a big deal for the teams. People do it all the time. They adjust they use flexible working hours to help their outside of life, and we help people come to understand how flexible working arrangements can assist them within the workplace as well. And those things need to adjust over time. I currently have one person in my environment who has flat presentation. And so that particular person, the way in which they interact with others, it's difficult for other people to read cues from them, which they would normally be expecting to see. So when that person is agitated or excited or really happy, their actual physical disposition doesn't change a lot. The tone in their voice doesn't change a lot. So when they're working in the team and they're really frustrated, normally people will start becoming agitated or make lots of noise. This particular person doesn't. So we've had to work with that person about how they're comfortable in expressing themselves in that environment and who they reach out to, because we can't just leave that person on their own, because it's not visible to the outside world as to what might be happening with inside them as well. We have other individuals who have an aversion to using the phone, or have an aversion to going to group meetings, because in a group environment, it can be really difficult to read social cues. And so sometimes it's unavoidable. So what we do is we have some processes in place about preparing those people and rehearsing so that they can go into that environment in the most secure way that they can. I'm always available to go to a meeting because I like to meet with everybody. So sometimes it might be taking a support person, and other times it might just be being prepared and thinking what's expected of me when I go there. We have a range of tools that some of which have Untapped have prepared specifically for the program, that we use with our people, to help them to find the best tools to help them to manage and organise, because sometimes if executive functioning is a little bit difficult for individuals, that whole planning your day and prioritising can be a little bit tricky, and we have a range of online and also at hand tools that we can use with people to help them to overcome those challenges. So yeah, lots of words there and no more slides, but we work really closely with individuals to find their individual plan. And one of the things that we start to do in the second year when we're talking about self-advocacy is we help individuals to recognise those needs for themselves, so that when they go out into the employment world, they're able to actually sit down with their leader and say, this is how I learn best. This is how I communicate best. And we've had a lot of success with that as well.